playing with Inference. Today, we're chatting with the winning team of Supercell's recent AI game jam / hackathon. That team is Undefined because they were still coming up with the name and they had to put something. I personally love the name. And their project that they won with was called Prompt Me Maybe. And amongst all the teams that competed in May and participated, they ended up voting and awarding that to this project. So we're super excited to sit down and learn all about the event, all about the process that went to it, all the lessons and the learnings of a team coming in and trying to build something really cool in a very short amount of time. But before we jump into it, first of all, thank you for joining us. But why don't we take a moment to have y'all introduce each other for our audience, and we'll start with Aaron.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Aaron. I'm part of the team, as Carl mentioned, and I'm currently at school at Hive finishing, and I'm also doing an internship at Bolt, which is a DoorDash company. And yeah, that's my life. I am a computer engineer by school, and yeah, that's it.
Hi, Hi, I'm Elena. I'm also studied at Hive. I'm finishing the Common Core, like the main studies. I'm looking for internship, and I'm a career changer. So I learned coding in school since 1 or 2 years ago. Start coding.
Hi, I'm Yunjia, and I also study at the same school, Hive Helsinki, and I'm also a career changer. I think we're on the same phase. I'm almost done with the course and also looking for an internship. And I used to work for an online learning company, that kind of thing. And now I'm just changing career because I moved to Helsinki. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, my name is Rich, and I am originally from Taiwan. I moved to Finland around 3 years ago to build my career, and I am becoming a junior developer in a consultant company and starting from next month. So I'm very excited. Nice to see you guys.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Martin, and I am from Brazil original. My mother is Finnish, though, so I'm half Finnish, half Brazilian. And I moved to Finland 6 years ago. My background is mostly in the fine arts. So I've studied music composition before and did a master's degree in fine arts. And I am more focused on contemporary art. Yeah. And I started also, like
Amazing.
I think most of us started in the same month here last year. So I've been coding for 1.5 years.
Yeah, we all friends from the same cohort, so we all started almost at the same time, which is 1.5 years, with the exception of Yunshi. But yeah, we all met there.
That's great. And I was going to ask to kick off and set context. So this event gets announced. I think it was hosted as part of your guys' school, if I remember correctly. So did you guys come together as a team because you guys were an existing friend group, already part of the cohort? So you're like, hey, let's go and do the team together? Or how did you guys become Team Undefined?
So I would say this event for us at the beginning, it was quite spontaneous. We were just like, yeah, this one is like a collab with Junction, with Supercell, and I believe as Hive, we only provide the location for everyone to come. But for us, we are just like, it looks fun and it has very cool organizations. So we want to see what we can do. We didn't form a team because we were friends. So at the beginning, I believe I just post something and ask around, and eventually we just piece by piece, we came up together. And even Aaron, he joined quite late, but we end up working we end up having a lot of fun. So I think it's just randomly, and it worked well. That's the story.
Yeah, what happened that day was that actually I was fixing a bug because we at school we have projects we choose the projects like the pace of the system. Basically, we choose that, and I was doing one project and I was fixing a bug, and then I was leaving school, and then I was talking to these guys. What are you guys doing here? What's going on at school? What the heck is this? And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna join you in the table. I'm just gonna fix my bug here while seeing what's going on. And then after 1 or 2 hours, I was just listening to the conversation, adding to it, and then I was like, what? Can I actually be part of this? Is it possible still? And we talked with everybody, the organizers and all. And they were like, "Oh, yeah, of course you can join. In the terms of the system, you won't be in it. You won't be part of the platform, like per se, but you can be here 100% sure." And then, yeah, it happened just so organically. And it was a lot of fun for all of us.
So what was the motif of the hackathon or game jam? I don't know if it's one or the other. I guess both are similar.
At first, the hackathon is for gaming involved AI. So both are very important, like gaming and AI, because it was mainly sponsored by Supercell. And they want to know what happened, what can really AI does and affecting gaming in this area. So they just want to see what people can do, they just want to observe what will happen in this world, like in gaming area. So basically the theme is gaming plus AI. And I guess because it happened here at our school, so for us it's like really convenient. Let's just jump in and see what happened and have fun.
Yeah.
So everyone was attracted by us. We are very fun.
Right, perfect.
He had to join us. Yeah, not go home. He just stayed until very late and finished all the coding because he had a lot of fun with us.
That actually happened. I was awake for almost 48 hours. I slept 1 hour in the middle of it, and it was crazy. Yeah, just as a little context, I would say that we had a lot of people, like from 2 months ago or something, right? Like before the hackathon, there was a lot of people in a lab in our school. Like they call it like that, but they were basically in the library at school. They had a lot of computers in there, like everything paid by Supercell, and we have been seeing all of those guys like working there for a while, like at least at that point I think it was 2 months, and it was people coming from from everywhere in the world. I think it was from States, from Canada, like they choose 20, around 20 people, 30 people. And yeah, it was interesting for us to see like what's happening inside that place. Like we have no idea. So they Supercell organized this hackathon and everybody was invited, including us. So it was a good chance for us to kind of, okay, try this new AI thing. Yeah.
That's really cool. And so that's such a broad sort of theme ultimately, right? Like it's anything with AI and games together, right? There's often on the game side of it for game jams, they often do something like, oh, the theme is floating or something that like gives you a little bit more of a trajectory. But this is anything with games and AI. Had you guys had a lot of experience with both sides of that equation? Had you guys, I know that you guys have been all studying and doing coding and stuff, and often people in coding programs do a little bit of games regardless because it's just fun. But had you guys worked with a lot of gaming tools before? Had you guys worked with a lot of AI tools before? How much was this new and Wild West, or something that you guys had experience with?
Yeah, just as a quick note, we at school, most half of the school, in half of the projects of the school, we use C only. And it's mandatory for us to not use AI in a way that we just copy and paste code. We can, of course, ask and all that. So all of this vibe coding stuff, it's basically prohibited, or at least it's changing. I wouldn't say it's prohibited per se, but it's not recommended at all. And yeah, so we have been doing some graphic stuff internally, like pixel related stuff internally, but some like per se, no. Maybe we did like the skeleton of one game, but no, not never. For example, Unity or Unreal. So this project was completely done in C. So we are using just raycasting math and only that. Like we used the bare bones stuff and we connected it with other stuff. We can talk about it later, but I think we don't have experience at all with these gaming technologies that everybody uses, like Unreal, Unity, and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like connecting with AI, everything that we like building the game, the AI part we figure out during the weekend. So
we just use the instinct. What's fun? What's entertaining? Let's try that.
Because our school projects, they are based in C and C++, so we don't do these kind of things in the school projects.
So maybe I would love to hear now, what did you guys build?
So basically, we did a Wolfenstein 3D game. With that, I'm saying that as a reference because It's basically that. Like we are using all of the John Carmack's like math that he did, the raycasting math. And yeah, basically this is a 2D game that looks like a 3D game. So we create the sense of a player that is inside a world and you walk around it. But basically this is just an effect that's created by the raycasting math that John Carmack created back in the 90s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which for those that don't know, it's the guy that is the owner of ID Software, or I don't know if he
Software,
steals.
yeah. He is no longer there, but he is very famous in the game industry for sure.
Yeah, he's basically the dad of gaming at this point. But yeah, so we did it based on that. There's a lot of resources out there, and I think some of the projects like that they have, they are open source. So we never use those, of course, but we were reading about the theory behind all of that. This is actually, as I said, this is based a little on what we do at school. So this is the max that we do. Like we learn about raycasting and all this at school, but this is a little different from what we had there. And we just implemented the AI part on top of this. So yeah, basically the idea is to kind of be this little guy in the middle of the world. And then you have this enemy, which at this point is not, it just does this, it doesn't die, but you can shoot. And then the interesting part of the game is that you can basically create a gun on the go. So you type the number 2, and then you can type anything that you want. You can type anything. I don't know. I'll let you guys choose what you want. A banana. Okay. Oh. So that goes to a thread. So that's a process that's running in the background. So you can still play. And you can see here at the right in the terminal that it's actually calling OpenAI's server through an API, and it's getting the image. And then what we do in the background is kind of get a sequence of images that we split in 4, and then we use that as the new texture, and we just load it on runtime. So yeah, it takes a little while. So let's wait for a second. So yeah, this is the banana. And then it kind of animates it. As I said, it creates a sequence out of the word. And then it actually creates like this shooting effect. Whatever you type, it does it for everything. And yeah, that's it.
Nice.
And then you can continue just typing stuff. And a lot of people were excited about this. You would, yeah, you can imagine like everybody was testing like this like crazy.
Yeah. Just one really quick thing from a technical standpoint. I just got a pop-up that said, Martin and Rich, your thing isn't recording anymore for some reason. So you may just need to refresh and reconnect.
Do we need to wait for them to?
It'll get synced back in. I'll just have to do a moment where I'm like zoomed in on the game or whatever, so we can keep going.
Okay. So wait, so Aaron, when you guys say split it in 4, is that's for creating a sequence? Basically, it's like 4 images to create a sequence. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, let me show it to you really quick. I think it's final. Let's see the textures. So for example, we got a cat now. Oh, let me show. It actually shoots like that. Let me show it to you really quick. I think it's in pics. It's been 2 months from this. Oh, so it's gone.
If I can add it, that we actually make this move of creating 4 images as an improvement, because we noticed that every time that we request some image, there is no consistency. In the image, you have one orange cat and then one black cat and then one orange cat again. So creating these like as one call, we can have like consistency and like the right move. So like the hand will do like exactly the shooting movement in the correct order.
Yeah, one of the main problems that we had at the start, it was that there was no consistency. Like the main idea at the start was, okay, let's do 4 OpenAI calls. Let's just say, okay, create this type of, like a gun with this type of context. And the idea was to have 4 different calls, but the consistency was basically none. Like we were getting, like, for example, let's imagine the banana at the 0 sequence, but the number 1 would look like quite different than the 0. And then the number 2 would look like completely different as well, and the 4 the same. So what we ended up doing the last day was, okay, let's just do it one simple prompt, and then we will split this locally. So we actually get the image, which is this, and then we didn't need that much of a big of an image, because this one is like a 1024 by 1024, but which is the minimum that OpenAI can return. But we just needed like a 60 by 60 pixels. If you see like the originals that we have over here, they are like super small. No, not here, but here. This is just like 60 pixels, and this is actually huge. We didn't need that much information, but OpenAI was returning these huge things. So we split this, and then we just put it on runtime, and then we actually change the textures on a specific place, and then on runtime this gets added to the game. So yeah, and this happens again in a thread. It's a process that's happening in the background. So whatever the API takes to load, we just wait for it, and we just continue playing while that one it's in the background.
So I love this type of use cases, both because of the cleverness, but also the silliness. And silly is good for me. How did you manage that consistency? Because so you're returning in a single image the 4 quadrants, which is like the animation of what the hand is supposed to do. One of the problems with it that I would imagine you would have is that it would not stick to a certain format, or it would not stick to the style, or even the transparency may not be the right transparency. Like, how did you find a lot of those problems when trying to prompt OpenAI into generating arbitrary weapons?
Yeah,
You
like
know?
we try different models also. Like we spend like quite a long day or morning, I don't remember more, but trying different models to create image to see like how we could improve the prompt and have a bit more consistency. And then we try DALL-E, and for
Yeah,
the
I think
latest
we
change
try
for
different models like DALL-E 1, DALL-E 2, and then this one. And I think we
It's the
also, at some
latest.
point, we also tried Gemini.
Yeah.
And then nothing really gave us a good quality of the picture. And good quality means like they can prompt exactly what we want, from the transparency, and from we tell it to use only one hand, and
Yeah.
the also like
The
consistency in like
gun.
specific this hand and doing like that. And then we found out like this ChatGPT,
It was the latest
the
model
latest model works like
at the
much
moment.
better than others. And then so that's the first problem. The quality of the picture was really bad, and then we just tried different models, and then there's the consistency. And as Aaron said, he used that 4 pictures in one, 4 frames in one picture that solved the consistency problem. I think basically that's the 2 major problems we faced.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with the transparency, like I think we by the end we use like black background, so we can just not render the black pixels because we could not like have this transparent like background in the frames.
The transparency actually is a bug from our side. So it's fixable. We've never fixed it because we never touched the project again. We will. But it's one of the things that happened during the hackathon that, as you can see here, we get the black, right, at the right. So what is going on is that we don't print black pixels. So if one of these that we got happens to have an actual 0 like pixel, we don't print it. That's what's going on in there. So if the eyes of the cat, for example, are completely black, we just get like transparent eyes. But that's actually not OpenAI's fault at all. It's our fault. But because that was the way we handled transparency in the moment. Yeah. As the girl said, this was a hell of a nightmare. There was a lot of problems at the start. We basically the first 30 hours, we couldn't make this work. I would say even more, like the first 40 hours, because just the consistency was like really bad, and until the point that we started using the image. I think it's called Image One from OpenAI or something. We can come up with the name, but it's the latest image model from OpenAI. It's actually the most expensive one. So each of these prompts cost us about a few cents of a dollar. So we did the math, but I think for $1 we can do at least between 20 and 40 of these images, something like that. Outside 20 images.
For €1, we can prompt it around 4 to 5 times.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, I was considering the whole, like the 4 images, like the
And
whole sequence.
another good benefit of split it into 4 is that we save money because we test it a lot of times and it really like pricey. So in this way, we can do it with consistency and we save a lot of money.
And time also, because if we have
And it save a lot of time because we don't make the
image.
request many times. We just make once and then we got the whole thing.
Yep. Would you be able to bring up the prompt you guys actually use? I'm curious to see what you guys ended up doing.
And if at any point you want to say, "Oh, that's secret sauce," it's perfectly fine.
No, actually, the code is completely open source, so you can check it yourself. And no, we don't check. I think we all appreciate that, like the open sourceness of things. So yeah, 100%. Like people can take inspirations from it, and they can actually fork. This is a fork from our base project from school. You can actually see what was base, and then see on top of that what was the AI. It's a little messy, but yeah, it was only 48 hours. Yeah.
Code from
let me see.
hackathons is classically very organized and neat and legible, right? Like,
yeah, I completely agree with
Proof
that.
of concept.
100%.
Yes.
Let me find where we do the query. Do you guys remember? Okay, continue.
Maybe you can search prompt.
Oh, prompt,
Yeah,
you can search prompt.
Yeah, we had several versions of this prompt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, one of the things that definitely we've seen as we've played with AI in games and AI in general is you end up spending many revisions on the prompt. Like the prompt is the thing that you're just constantly revising. And part of what I'm curious about is we've already talked a little bit about the journey of figuring out like how to add consistency and stuff. And so part of it is seeing where you guys ended up. And I think there's probably a lot of stuff you guys can share about the journey of we tried this and we tried that and tweaking this and tweaking that and what did have an effect and what didn't, right? So I'm really curious about that.
You find the prompt. Was it part of the prompt to show the 4 images, or how did you ask it, hey, can you generate 4 images in this style?
Yeah, basically we do that. Because we split the teams in 3 parts, and one of the teams was specifically looking for the best prompt that we can get. So we were specifically saying something in the lines of, please do a pixel art of a word, gun. The word was the one that the user can type. Like there was a big space in there, and then gun that does cast recoil. And then we also specified the size of the image, that it had to be squared. And then we what else? Black background, something like that. So it was completely, one of the teams was spending like a few hours just testing with different prompts, and then after that it was like, okay, this looks consistent enough, so let's just use this one. But yeah, I completely forgot where's this part. I remember there was like did you find it?
Yeah, we found it.
It's
We have it in movement. Okay, that's cool. That's crazy.
In movement.
The obvious place for it.
Oh yeah, curious.
Line
So it's
261.
Yeah,
Line 261.
Yeah. So here we said generate a sprite sheet shooting sequence of 4 frames. Pixel art, retro, first person view of a hand holding and this is the word of the user. Background is black, no transparency, a 90s video game style. So we never mentioned Loom or like anything. Like we never mentioned like any copyrighted worth.
Wow.
The whole sequence will be compressed in a single sheet of 4 frames on a 2x2 grid, and this is the minimum size that we could get, resolution we could get, and then visible recoil movement. And what is fun about this is that the recoil, you saw the watermelon, right?
Yeah.
It was actually like, it by itself, it interpreted that this is actually shooting. Like we never said that, like the taco thing. Also, I think the taco, it does the same kind of idea. Like I remember we saw out of nowhere, we saw the taco like eating, like having a bite in the middle of it. So it was like, what the heck? We never said or specified something like that, but it just infers something like that. I don't know where's that coming from. But
Aaron,
just,
correct me if I'm wrong, because we also feed the base image. Is that the latest version? Because we always have a base image.
No, that was not the latest version.
At the start, at the start when we...
Yeah. I think at first Helena tried to just use words. And then Helena also tried to use different model to make it, hey, I want to make this kind of picture and what kind of prompt we should put. And we let two different models to teach like each other how to do that. And then we tried to and then it didn't really work well. So we tried to feed the picture, the example, and try to make it
as a reference.
And then it didn't work really well. And then I think that's the latest version. Just tried a lot of ways to just want to make it work.
We try to send the prompt and the image as a reference to the call, but then this doesn't like make any sense. But then we noticed that the model didn't need the reference, and we just used the single prompt.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you divided the team into three. Could you quickly go over the sort of, it sounds like, Helena, you were charging forward on the prompt side of things, but what just to be really clear so I can ask detailed questions of different people, what were the three sort of segments of the team and who was on each segment?
Yeah, I think I was more working with the prompt and testing different models. You were like working with the
you try different models and API thing.
The API call.
Yeah, API call.
And Martin and I were doing actually with Rich as well at the start, we were doing the runtime part of things. So because the project at the point that we had at the start, it was breaking if we were changing the textures on the go. So the first like hour or so, we quickly realized what were the limitations in terms of, okay, so we have this as a base, so we have to adapt it to get textures on runtime. What I mean with this is actually this is compiled already. So how do we do it in a way that we take an image and we are able to put it in a specific folder and then we change whatever is happening inside the game. So we were like, okay, let's just adapt the code for that. We adapted it, and that was the first part of the team. So the other part of the team was like that, and then we split it. Rich started jumping between teams, and then the first night, the runtime thing worked. Like we started, I don't know, I think the hackathon started at 6 p.m. So by 12 a.m., the runtime thing was working. And then the next morning, some sort of part for the API call was working with DALI version, but there was no consistency.
Yeah.
And then maybe Rich, you can continue from here. We also needed some specific stuff for the hackathon, right? So
yeah, sure. I think when everyone mentioned three teams, I guess it's not that like specific, but every now and then me and Martin will be like, let's say, looking for like more possibilities. For example, if we could ever talk to NPCs, or do we need like interface for the starting of the games. We eventually didn't use those ones, but we are very close. But we just want to focus on what is the winning point of these projects. Yeah, like we actually have a promotion video, and in promotion video you can talk with NPC, but we just didn't end up using it. But yeah, like
How long did you guys have?
it was 40
yeah,
hours. It was 40 hours. It was not even 48. It was 40 hours.
From Friday afternoon or 6 p.m. to Sunday 2 p.m.
Yeah, but we had to submit the game before, like in the morning, and then we worked on the text and video about the game. So we actually changed a few things, right?
Yeah.
After.
So that's Continue.
No, yeah, just we spent many hours writing a concise text that would explain and be very attractive to people, because we had to get the votes, and then making these short videos also explaining more or less like in a very short way.
Yeah, to sell our game to participants and judges.
Yeah, marketing is part of game
dev.
It's a big part
of the hackathon.
I think our marketing video was amazing.
I think I saw it. I really liked it.
I replayed it for a couple of times, like, wow. Good job, Rich.
I think squeezing a cat to kill a demon is peak game development. Yes. Okay, so this was in a span of 40 hours then. What would you guys have put in if you had a week or if you had a month? What were the ideas that you had in the back burner that if you had more time to devote to this game and to this idea, you would have loved to implement?
Yeah, I would like to go from this angle is that in this hackathon, we are trying to find what we can do. So of course we dream big, but we don't also, we, meanwhile, we don't want to lose like practicability. Like we don't want to dream big, but build something we can't. But if we would have more time, I would say, because since our game is, our selling point is like this like surprising element. So we want to generate even more, for example, the map or like even the gameplay. And maybe talking with NPC is like something everyone has, but what we imagine is that instead of only generating the weapons or the monsters, we want to generate like basically everything that is possible. So that would be our, yeah,
Yeah,
something in a week span, the goal.
yeah, I completely agree with Rich. I think the initial idea was to have the NPC. So this guy that is the monster now, he was actually a guy selling stuff in this corner. So the idea was to, oh, the idea was to, okay, let's do telephone or something. Sorry about this. It
You're
happens.
good. It's a project made in 40 hours, so it's all good,
Yeah,
man.
exactly. That's
We've seen fewer bugs in this than most game projects I've worked on.
This guy, the demon that we see, we don't see it now, but this guy that is in here, he was a seller. So the idea was that he was selling guns. So you would approach him and you would say, he would say, what do you want? I can create like anything. So you type the thing and then you just wait. And he's like, okay, here's your thing. You have the telephone now. And he was actually the seller. We ended up changing the texture. He was like a magician or something, right? I don't remember. It's like he had so many ideas. And another thing, it's because I can share it like really quick in here. Our game, it has maps like specifically defined somewhere in here, in here. So they are basically just zeros and ones. Oh, let me share it in here. 1 second. You can. So the idea was to test. I think we were using 11 or something. So this is how. Oh, let me clean it. This is how our map looks. It has a lot of parsing stuff on purpose, like really bad stuff. But the idea was to create this one also on the go. So with the same prompt, or with maybe with another, we can create the whole world full of ones and zeros. And if you see what's going on in here is that the ones are walls and the zeros are spaces where you can walk, and the Ds are doors. So yeah.
Did you try
The-
generating, maybe not inside the game, but did you try to generate, how to say, maps offline to see how good these models were at generating them? And I'm asking because almost a year ago, we were trying generating maps like this type of zeros and ones format. And we found that we were better off just using procedural generation rather than asking an LLM to generate zero and ones. So curious, like how good the models do at generating this today.
We tried.
yeah, we never tested it. It was one of the ideas, but I wouldn't say. I wouldn't
Yes.
say. Yeah,
No,
Martin
actually,
can take it
yeah,
from
I
here as well.
tried to make a map, and I think a year ago I tried, or many months ago I tried on ChatGPTs to create a map like this and test it in our school project, and it was really
Mhm.
bad. But then during the hackathon, I tried, and it was working. It was going through parsing. So if we had more time, we could actually get a map from ChatGPT, run it through
Yeah.
parsing, and then see if we could add it to the game. But I think it could have worked.
Yeah, and something that we realized is like the image that is generated is like 1024 by 1024. We could fit in that same prompt like the four sprites, like the four images, and like also the wall textures, the door
Mm.
textures. We could generate with one call. It will be like quick as the what we have now, and not no really cost. We could do like the whole environment.
So,
And you have
us-
like more days, like
yeah, for
2 or 3 more days, we could for sure make that.
the desire always for more time with any project.
Yes.
Related to Ramon's question, but I think a slightly different is rather than just if you had more time, what would you continue on necessarily with this one? But given the experience of this hackathon, and it sounds like you guys tried a lot of different stuff, ran into a lot of troubles, had to troubleshoot it, and found some really cool solutions, but learned a lot about prompting and working with the stuff along the way. If Supercell did the hackathon number 2 in a month, and you guys were going to sign up, and you guys were talking about what you would want to do, what are the big like lessons you have that think or how you think about this differently now that you're like, oh, if we were going to sit down and do another hackathon, here's how we would think about it. Here's how we would go in trying to be prepared, because we've learned all these things about working with this technology at all.
I would say just coming with the idea that AI cannot do a lot of things. I think at the start, it was one of the strengths that we had, that we kind of limited what we can do with AI. Like, we never wanted it to generate code, for example, because we were 100% sure that it was going to add blocks into the code. So basically, we were like limiting it to generate stuff that doesn't break the things of the actual game. So, for example, here is just textures that maybe it's visual stuff that, okay, it looks bad sometimes, it looks like consistent sometimes, but it doesn't actually break the actual internal game. So I think we were super clear at the start with that. What is possible with AI at the moment? And we were discussing, I think like a big chunk of the start was like the first 3 hours, we were discussing like, what do we do? So like, how do we use AI in here? What are the limitations? And those were the answers we found. We can just leave it working on the sidelines. And if it works, that's fine. If it doesn't, then we just retry, because it generates a lot of stuff. So I would say just not coming with the idea that it can generate everything, at least like having some specific, having it like constrained in a way that you have control and you don't lose it, because it's so easy. We saw some teams that were doing a lot of, basically like half of the game was dependent on AI, and then they didn't manage to fix it because of course it was bytecoded. Just one part of ours was also bytecoded, but it was too late then for like, to try to fix it, because it was so much code that you had to read. It was so much like stuff that you don't have an idea about what's going on, and then it was too late. So that would be like one of the recommendations. Maybe Rich or the team can add another.
I think one of the lessons like we can all agree is like just have fun. I think we were just like looking to have fun together and like use AI and be surprising. Like I think this is something that really is important in the game.
And don't take everything like too personal, because we like when we discuss, oh, if we should do this or do that, of course we got rejection all the time, but that's just a process. That's okay. We just need to focus what's the best for the team. Oh, then we just do that, try that. So I think that's also very important. That's part of the good teamwork.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe having actual food in the hackathon, because we were just eating like cookies and chips. That would be different. 100% sure.
Oh, I bring a nice breakfast for you.
Yeah. In the last morning on Sunday, Helena, because they went home and I stayed like just fixing the small thing at the end. I remember Elena was asking like, "Hey, I can bring you a sandwich and such," and it was so nice and lovely, and I still remember that from the bottom of my heart.
And I think, and then Roman asked a question, if we have another chance to join hackathon. I think maybe for me, if I don't really care about if I win in the game, I would like to do more preparation for it. I would like to explore more AI tools, because like for me, this time we just generate texture because it's safe and fun. But
Yeah.
I would like to make the game maybe more engaging and more interactive. It would be like even more fun for me. But I don't really, I'm not familiar with any kind of that AI tools. So if I have another chance to join this hackathon, maybe I'll do more preparation to get familiar with that kind of tools, so I can just like really use it. Because this time I already tried to use the ChatGPT API, so like it's easier for us to just try that and try different models. Yeah, so I would say that next time maybe I'll try to try different tools and make it like different. I think
When
it
you
should,
mean trying different tools, what type of tools do you have in mind, or what do you?
because I remember one team, their game is to give you different tasks, and then you just follow the tasks. But the task is, for example, just find a water bottle and show to the camera, or do and make a face or roll your eyes or do something funny and this kind of thing. And I think it can
be more interactive, like
be
the
more
AI.
interactive, or even just make it as a story so you can do something and interactive with the art and the NPC. So it would be there are a lot of different ways to be more interactive, but I don't really know those kind of tools, and it would be like more fun for me to try different things. Yeah.
So one of the key questions that I had when I saw y'all's video, and I don't know if it's implemented or not, but if I'm playing this, I wonder what if I have a gun, I know what happens when I shoot, right? Like a bullet should be hitting that demon. But if I have a cat, when I squeeze the cat, what should be happening to that demon, if anything, or what should be happening in the game? And same with a banana, and I saw a mouse and a USB. Like you're giving a lot of options to the player to like potentially kill demons. What should be the outcome of each of those triggers?
That's the beautiful part. We don't know. You just gotta try, okay? Try it and you'll see the outcome. That's the fun part.
Even if you try the same prompt, it will
generate different things. So we don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows.
Surprising part.
That's the beautiful part.
There was a part of the development where we were testing with the recoil, that the recoil was dependent of the texture as well. So it was like moving more or less depending on how heavy the gun was. So I think we would just get like one specific variable for that. If it's a banana, what can you do with the banana? Like the damage is 0, right? So I would say that's the answer for my side. If it's if it's nothing, it doesn't damage anybody. Well, you will just die. Like you will have a specific time where you can create another. I don't know, but I like the answer that she said. Yeah.
I almost said that, but of course, like there are possibilities. If we want to go practical, of course, we can let the AI to tell us even should this weapon be like short distance or like long distance, and we can go for those directions. But of course, we want to have this like surprising element in our game as well. So of course, you can go a little bit further to that, right? It's our like also something we are proud of. So it all depends what we want. Yeah.
I think at least personally, it reminded me a lot to Scribblenauts. Do you guys manage to game?
Yes, I was going to ask you guys if you've played Scribblenauts, because this sounds very Scribblenauty.
I've played that like in high school, but I wasn't like taking anything from there until now that I see the final results. Yeah, it reminds me a lot to that. Like what happens in that game is like you can create like dragons and stuff, and then you can destroy basically like win the game like super quick with anything. So I would say we would take that approach. That's just like coming with an answer. Yeah.
No, Scribblenauts is definitely a big touchstone for a lot of folks who are playing in the AI game space. I think that's sort of like exactly what you guys tapped into is so much of what it brings is that back and forth of, I don't know, let me try a cat, and then being delighted by the outcome, even if it's not what you would expect or it doesn't work quite how you expect. But that sort of, Ramon often calls it playful creation, back and forth loop is a big part of it. Here towards the end of our conversation, I wanted to zoom out a little bit. We've talked a lot about your team and your project. What else did you see at the event when you finally were able to like come up from your desks and take a breath, maybe get some real food in you? What else did you see at the event that you thought was cool, that you were inspired by? What did other teams work on at the event that you thought was notable?
What I can share one, I don't think they end up winning in some place, but they were like actually feeding their facial expression to the AI model. So I just found those, even maybe their implementation wasn't great enough, but I do think this like idea was something more unique than other teams. So they feed this like facial expression to interpret with their game to let the game tell them what is the next move. Yeah, that's one from my side.
I think I'm not sure if it's like that unique, but that's something I would like to try when I play the game. I remember one team is doing the game assistant. So it just help you, assist you when you are playing the game. It's like a tool. It's not really making a, but I think that's something very potential as well. Like for me, I'm not a heavy player, I'm a light player, so sometimes I want to keep playing that, but I need some help that would be very helpful and help me keep playing that. So I think that's a wonderful idea for me. Yeah, so I think this hackathon is the hackathon was really fun because it's not only for game or specific thing. You can see any kind of possibility, and that's the reason we would like to join, because we want to see what happened, what can we do, what can we explore like next. Yeah.
One of my friends that are Hive showed me they didn't even upload it because they didn't have enough time to do the videos and such. So if Supercell sees this, I would say like before like continuing, like maybe that part, just remove the whole video part and then just leave it at the end or something. Because I think a lot of teams had like really good ideas, but because they were like trying to code and they were like people like there were just like one or two people like in the same team, so they didn't have enough time to split the workload. But I saw it and it was super nice. It was about like an investigation. So you were having like conversations with like a Sherlock like actor, and he was like trying to convince you the other way around of what you were saying. So he was like against what you were saying. It was super interactive in that sense, and it had a lot of richness in the conversation. I think that was really cool to see.
We're almost out of time. I wanted to give you all a chance, though, here at the end to any individual closing thoughts for our audience of what you're really excited about the space or anything like that, or any shout outs you want to give. I know there were a lot of people that interacted with as part of the event and anything like that. So any shout outs. And then if someone wanted to check out your project, it would also be great to know where to do that. But the floor is yours for closing thoughts from any and all of you.
I can go first, like very quick. We didn't expect to take the first place, but I'm very grateful we managed to do it. But also the biggest takeaway is that there are so many people that gave us feedback by playing our game and they really enjoy it. And I think those moments give me like our hard work like pay off. So I would like to shout out for those people, of course, including my team. So that's all I want to say. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I for me it's like I really appreciate the team that we like managed to build and everything, because it was my second hackathon. Like the other one was a very tiny one, and for sure I didn't expect that, but Rich was convinced that Rich and Aaron really want to win something. But we were like, okay, just have fun, let's do what we can and things. Yeah, that's it. I really love the team.
Yes, I think at first I didn't like even think about maybe go to the first 10 or something. I just want to see what happened and see people and make connection. That's all I expected. But after this experience, I feel like just how I should say this, just on even though we are all like beginners, but that's okay. We just need to try, and everything is possible. So I think I get more confidence after this hackathon, and it really helped me a lot to keep trying. Because we are all career changers. We are not like, we code since I was 6 and no, I'm not that kind of person, but this gave me that confidence that you just gotta try. You don't think about too much, even though you're a beginner. That's okay. Just have fun, and I think that's all. I learned a lot from this experience. Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with that perspective that it's even ourselves, like it looks like something that it works. We didn't know what was happening, like when we were doing it. Like it was completely unexpected that it worked actually at the end. Like we were at one point like actually surprised that it works. So yeah, and then I think just the school Supercell for providing the whole like place and space, as Rich said, the people that were trusting it and the school. I think like it was a good moment for everybody. We were just having a lot of fun. I think that's the most important part of the things that I think in the industry, at least in the gaming industry, I feel like a lot of things are done just because of money. And I think that needs to change in order to evolve into a place where we actually play fun games again. Because yeah, we are missing that, I'd say. Yeah. So like yeah, just trying everything that you can. If it's fun, then just let it be fun, and that's it. That's my recommendation. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like our team, I think one thing that worked very well was our chemistry, and one thing that is very hard to predict how it's gonna happen. We joined last minute. Aaron joined even after that, and then like for some reason things worked out, and we have no idea how. But I think it was mostly hard work, of course, and hard work, but also humor. Like we found the idea funny, and we found out, wow, it's so absurd. Let's go for it. So it was really a great experience.
And the last, I think everyone spoke, right? So I want to thank you guys for having us. We didn't expect we will be invited to any podcast at all, and we do have a lot of fun today. And thank you a lot for having us. And yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. No, thanks so much for being on. Yeah, what's up, Aaron?
So you also mentioned like what are we excited about the future, right? In terms of the AI. Yeah, I'd say like for that part, I think one of the things that I never considered, and one of the A lovers were saying, was that we shouldn't care that much about the optimization of things. And I think because it's gonna just get cheaper and cheaper over time. And I think that kind of clicked on me like, oh, if you try to optimize from the start, then it can go even cheaper if your start point or your checkpoint is basically like the most optimized way that you can do it. And then it just, on top of that, you add that it's gonna be cheaper over time, then it means that now it's taking 1 minute or 2 minutes to generate one texture, but maybe over time that would be like a few seconds, and that would be super, super interesting to see. I think that's the thing I'm most excited about, like just creating like whole worlds, like just out of one prompt, and in 1 second you just have it like ready in there. Yeah.
So first of all, thank you guys for being on. It's been really awesome to talk to you guys. It's been deeply inspiring. Just, I think the experience that you're talking about of going in and having fun and making a game, like that is, in my experience, the best of game development. And so you guys have absolutely had a very authentic experience, including the part like, it works. We didn't think it would. I have no idea how it does. That is A+ game development every time. And I think really new folks coming in and making games and playing with tools, and explicitly because you guys don't have any preconceived notion of what are the rules and what is possible and what isn't possible, is always really amazing. And folks like yourselves have always made a huge difference in both tech and games. It's always super inspiring to see you guys come through and have as much fun and make something so fun as you guys did. If folks who are listening want to, you mentioned that there's a lot that's open source and you guys want to let people see the project. If they want to check it out, what's the best place for them to go and find information about that?
Everything is in GitHub. So if you search for Cube AI, we can share the link. You can check all of the code. Of course, it doesn't have the API key, so it would only need you to have the API key on top of it, and you just need to learn some basics about make, like CMake maybe, and just install like some basic dependencies. But you can really make it run like super quick, and everything is explained in README. Again, it's C, so it's pretty easy to read if you are used to it. Yeah, I don't know. We're using threads, the most basic thing, the most, I don't know. And everything is in there and it's pretty readable. We can over time like add some refactoring there to make it more readable, but yeah, it's in GitHub.
Don't sign yourself up for refactoring. I'm sure people can navigate it. For those watching and listening, I'll put the link into the show notes so you can always look and find it there. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been an amazing conversation and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thanks for listening to the full episode. We really hope you enjoyed the discussion. It would help us out a ton if you subscribed to the show on your platform of choice, as well as shared it with folks you think would find it useful. You can always check out playingwithinference.com to get in contact with us, join our Discord, or just find the links to the episodes. See you next week.